Imagine receiving a cryptic letter, its lines filled with taunting messages, mysterious symbols, and a promise of more bloodshed to come. Now imagine living in a time when this letter wasn't just a strange anomaly but part of a chilling reality. A faceless killer lurked in the shadows, preying on unsuspecting victims, then bragging about their crimes in coded letters sent directly to the media. This wasn't fiction. This was the terror that gripped Northern California in the late 1960s. Tonight, we dive into one of America's most haunting mysteries, the Zodiac Killer. Could this be the moment we finally unmask the person behind the chilling moniker? Stay with us, as every twist and turn of this case will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew. The Zodiac Killer didn't just commit murder, they orchestrated terror like an artist crafting a masterpiece. The first known attack occurred on December 20th, 1968, on a lonely stretch of road in Vallejo, California. High school sweethearts Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday parked their car for a quiet evening together. What should have been a moment of innocence turned into a scene of horror. A figure approached their car, and within moments, gunfire shattered the silence of the night. Both teenagers were killed, their lives stolen without warning or motive. Months later, on July 4th, 1969, the killer struck again. This time, the target was another young couple, Darlene Farron and Mike Mageau. Parked in a secluded area, they were ambushed by a man wielding a flashlight and a gun. Mike survived the attack and provided a description of their assailant, a stocky man with short hair. But it was the aftermath of this crime that set the Zodiac apart from any ordinary murderer. The killer called the police to confess, taking credit for both the July 4th attack and the murders of Betty Lou and David. The true horror of the Zodiac Killer began to unfold when cryptic letters arrived at the offices of the San Francisco Chronicle, San Francisco Examiner, and Vallejo Times-Herald. Each letter contained chilling details of the murders, details only the killer could know, and a coded cipher. The Zodiac demanded these letters be published or threatened to go on a killing spree. One of the ciphers, known as the 408 cipher, was cracked by a schoolteacher and his wife. The decoded message revealed the killer's twisted motives, a desire to collect slaves for the afterlife. In October 1969, the Zodiac's reign of terror took a new turn with the murder of cab driver Paul Stein in San Francisco. This time, the killer left behind more than fear. They left a trail of evidence. The Zodiac was spotted by several witnesses fleeing the scene, and even left behind fingerprints on the cab. Despite this, the killer vanished, eluding capture once again. This bold crime marked the Zodiac's transition from targeting young couples to random victims, deepening the mystery of their true motives. As the Zodiac's crimes unfolded, the letters grew more disturbing. They contained taunts directed at the police, references to future attacks, and increasingly complex ciphers. The Zodiac even claimed to have planted a bomb that never materialized, further toying with the authorities. The media frenzy escalated, and the public lived in fear, not knowing when or where the killer would strike next. The Zodiac signed their letters with a chilling symbol, a crosshair-like circle that became synonymous with terror. Perhaps the most unnerving aspect of the Zodiac case is the killer's ability to disappear without a trace. The last confirmed communication came in 1974, but the Zodiac hinted at taking responsibility for as many as 37 murders. Officially, only 5 victims are attributed to the Zodiac, but the true number remains a haunting question. Was the killer truly as prolific as they claimed, or were these letters a calculated game to keep the public and authorities in suspense? Over the decades, the Zodiac Killer has inspired countless theories, books, and films, each attempting to solve the enigma. Suspects have ranged from amateur sleuths' neighbors to high-profile figures. One of the most compelling suspects was Arthur Lee Allen, a man whose connection to the case seemed too coincidental to ignore. Allen owned a watch with the Zodiac's signature symbol, had a history of violence, and was identified by one survivor as resembling the attacker. However, DNA evidence from a Zodiac letter ruled him out, leaving the case cold once more. In recent years, advancements in forensic science and the rise of internet sleuths have breathed new life into the investigation. In 2020, a team of codebreakers cracked the Zodiac's infamous 340 cipher, revealing a chilling message that reaffirmed the killer's dark psyche. While the decoded text didn't reveal the Zodiac's identity, it reignited public interest in the case. Could modern technology finally solve this decades-old mystery? Some believe the Zodiac is long dead, their identity buried with them. Others are convinced that the killer walks among us, an ordinary person hiding an extraordinary secret. The lack of closure has turned the Zodiac case into a modern legend, a puzzle that continues to haunt the collective consciousness. What drives someone to commit such heinous acts and then flaunt their crimes? Was the Zodiac a lone wolf with a warped mind, or part of a larger, darker conspiracy? The Zodiac Killer represents more than just an unsolved case. They embody the fear of the unknown. They were a phantom, a predator who thrived on the chaos they created. Their letters were not just taunts, but a way to control the narrative, to keep themselves alive in the public eye long after their crimes ceased. The Zodiac's true identity may remain a mystery, but their impact is undeniable, a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the human soul. As we close this chapter on the Zodiac Killer, one question lingers. Will we ever know the truth? Or will the Zodiac remain an eternal shadow, a symbol of humanity's deepest fears? The answers may lie in the pages of unsolved cases, in the whispers of forgotten witnesses, or perhaps in the mind of someone watching this very video.